G'day folks, and welcome to Nomifactory Episode 2. So between episodes, I've just been doing a lot of batch crafting and some small infrastructure improvements to make batch crafting easier, namely just getting a few more machines. So we now have the steam macerator, which is as efficient as 5 LV macerators. So we'll be riding this pretty much up to HV, where we'll then swap it out with a HV macerator, which will give us a chance at getting secondary byproducts from smashing our ores or grinding our ores. So if you look in the ore chart, processing chart, you'll see that the first maceration step has a secondary output. This starts from HV, and you get an additional 8.5% chance for every tier after HV. So there's no point replacing this until we get to HV. I also got the compressor, which means that we can now make rubber sheets at a 1-to-1 ratio instead of a 2-to-1 ratio of sticky resin. It also means we don't have to use the handcrafting recipe, which involves a hammer, so we can stop going through as many hammers, which is important because we will be, until we get liquid rubber and the assembler, this will still be the primary way that we coat cables. I also got the alloy smelter, which is for making alloys like conductive iron, which is what this cable is made out of. And I also got the extractor, which is used for making molten, or can be used to make get molten materials such as molten glass, molten tin, etc. And basically the use for this right now is that it is pointing straight into a fluid solidifier, and we can use that as a way to batch craft some handy items. So we can batch craft glass tube. We can use the ball mold to batch craft glass tubes from glass at a 1-to-1 ratio, which will help us more easily batch craft vacuum tubes for circuits. We can make rotors at a 4-to-1 ratio, which is the best ratio for motors, 4 ingots to 1 rotor. So that's maximum efficiency on rotors. Instead of doing this awful recipe, where it is, you need tools and you need screws and all that. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Just 4 ingots, rotor mold, rotor. And the same goes for gears. So gears require rods and plates, not in here. In here it's just 4 ingots to 1 gear, which is not the best ratio for gears, I don't think. I think it does actually get better. So if I just say, look at the wrought iron gear. So in the fluid solidifier, it's 4-to-1. Oh no, in the gear working die, it's also 4-to-1. So yeah, so 4 ingots to a gear is the best ratio for gears. And basically this will make batch crafting easier. I've added a 3rd solar boiler because these two were starting to struggle a bit powering that. The other thing the alloy smelter does for us is it can be used to replace these because it can make steel. But for now we'll keep using the primitive blast furnaces. Also have a load more ingots. So I've been batch crafting some ingots and also batch crafting some other bits and bobs. So there's a load of steel in here. I've got plates and rods and a load of fine copper wire, which is used for motors and circuit boards at the moment. Rubber rings, which are used for pumps, and I batch crafted some electric motors. Our biggest issue right now is power. So this lonely little steam turbine is starting to struggle a bit. So we really need to get some more power. We really need to get some better power generation. So we're going to do 2 things today. We're going to get, first of all, I've got the macerator working on crushing some ores to help us get a battery buffer. So we can have a bit of a energy storage buffer sat in front of this, which will allow us to run multiple machines at once, because at the moment we can't really do that. The other thing we're going to do today is we're going to look at getting Snad. So I've already crafted up the LV autoclave, and the 2 machines we need to get Snad are the autoclave and the extractor. So basically Snad is a form of sand that grows things like sugarcane really fast whenever it receives a block update. So what we're going to do is we need 162 blocks of sand per snad and a single pulsating crystal, which is a diamond with pulsating iron in a autoclave. The molten pulsating iron, or the liquid pulsating iron, we will get from the extractor. But first the first step is we have to get pulsating iron. And the way we get that is from uraninite dust. There is another more renewable way, which is using resonant clathrates, but we can't get those yet. So we will. So basically, I'm going to go away and work on getting the pulsating iron, which is basically just involves waiting for the macerator, and then that will also get us access to item conduits, which will be where we can start automating stuff because they'll allow us to more easily push items around. So yeah, I'm going to go away and get the bits that we need for the battery buffer and the pulsating iron, and then we're going to come back and we'll get the battery buffer. We'll get the battery buffer built with the batteries, and we will get the Snad made and the vacuum chest, which will pick up the sugar canes, and then we'll come back and go through the the setup for the farm. See you guys in a bit. And we're back. So after a while of waiting for the macerator, we have our pulsating iron. I also still have 3 stacks of pulsating dust spare. We are going to batch craft some more pulsating iron very shortly. For now, I really need to get some more iron, so I just bought some more iron with coins. I bought 2 stacks. I bought 2. Sorry, I bought. What did I buy? Yeah, I bought 2 stacks of ore, and then just macerated it to get 4 stacks. Get rid of the stupid weather. So we'll wait for all that to smelt, and then we should be good. I will then set 3 more stacks of pulsating iron going in the alloy smelter. But for now, we've got what we need for now. So we're gonna make the Snad, which is gonna be very annoying. So literally, I just need to make the compressed blocks in the crafting table. So literally just like that. So I will quickly just go away and do this, and then we'll be back in a minute or so. Right, so we have our 2 sets of double compressed sand. So we needed 14 in total to make 7 Snad. So we shove the pulsating iron into the fluid extractor to get the liquid pulsating iron. And then we actually need a way to get this out. Can we make a universal fluid cell? So we can. So basically, we actually need to create a universal fluid cell so we can actually take the liquid out of here and put it into here, which requires us to get some tin plates. So we'll just quickly grab. I think it's just 2, isn't it? Yeah. So generally, you don't need to worry about cells too much. They're just a hand. It's not like GTNH where all the single bot machines tend to use cells to handle fluids. Cells in GTCEu are more just for a handy way of transporting fluids around, especially odd-numbered fluids, because buckets can only transfer exactly 1,000 liters, whereas this is not going to put out 1,000 liters. It's going to put out 1152. So we'll actually need 2 cells, not 1. You can use any fluid tank, even these Ender IO fluid tanks. You can use one of these. These are a handy way to take large quantities of fluids out of machines, which you'll no doubt see me doing at some point. So if we just shove in, and it was a circuit 12 in the vending machine. So if we just do 12, right, be back in it's only 20 seconds, I think we can wait for that. So this will give us empty cells, and then we can simply shove these in the crafting table together. So empty cells can only hold exactly 1,000 liters, but if you turn them into empty universal cells, then they can hold odd-numbered. They can hold a odd number of fluid. So we do that. There'll still be 1152 left. Sorry, there'll still be 152 left. We do that. So you just hover over it with the item and left click. So you hover over it, left click, and then we shove the diamond in, and now we're going to get our first pulsating crystal. And here we go. We have our 8 pulsating crystals. So 7 of them will be to make the Snad, and then the remaining one will be to make a vacuum chest from Ender IO, which will suck up any items in its range, which will be used to suck up the sugar canes that are going to get dropped on the floor. So to make that, it's just a pulsating crystal, a chest, and some iron ingots. So that's nice and simple. So what's that, 7? Yep. And we'll just shove you. So another. Oh, I forgot the chest. So another handy thing is if you want to remember what you're doing, you can bookmark recipes here on the side, so you can refer to them. Basically, the way you do that is search for the thing that you want. In this case, the vacuum chest, and you just hold over it and press A. And then if you want to delete the bookmark, you hover over the bookmark and press A again, and that'll delete it. JEI will also show you the things you've recently searched for down here, so you've also got that as well to, if you need to refer back to something. Anything you've recently searched will be down there. So now we have the vacuum chest, which means we have the Snad quest now, which will get us a Nomi quarter. We'll just turn that into Nomi nickels, because we're not really using quarters right now. So we need to make some item conduits. So that's pulsating iron wire. This recipe gets a lot better in the assembler. So in the assembler, it's 3 wires to 8 conduits, but at the moment it's 3 wires to 4 because we don't have the assembler. The assembler will be something that we will most likely get in the next episode, so we can start taking advantage of those quality of life things. As I mentioned, I was going to craft the battery buffer, so I did off camera while I was waiting for the macerator. So I've got 4 lithium batteries in here, which is made from the battery alloy that I was referring to, and basically this holds 480,000 EU. And it outputs it at 4 amps, so we can have 4 of these machines consuming a full, or we can consume a full 128 EU per tick from this battery buffer. But the generation is only still 32 EU, so we do have to be careful with any long-running processes. So first we need to get some sugar canes. We only need... There's probably enough in the chest, actually, because I've been putting all the spare ones in the chest. But we'll do this. So where are we... So we're going to put the sugarcane farm in this chunk. So basically, starting from this chunk, we're just going to do a power line that goes across. And then it will be broken down into the voltage tiers. So basically, we will have the steam dynamos here, and then if we add, say, another platform here, that will be for a different type of power, most likely numismatic power. And then the chunks sort of in front of it will, in front of this row, so this row will be where we start the machine lines. And basically we're just going to do this conductive iron wire and the MV equivalent, which is energetic alloy wire, and the HV equivalent, which is vibrant alloy wire. They're all completely lossless. So normally GregTech cables, like tin cable, for example, actually lose power over distance. So it's loss per meter per ampere. So this is a this is a platinum cable, which is an IV cable, but it can have a max amperage of 2. But out of those 2 amps, each of those 2 amps will lose 1 EU per meter or per block that the cable stretches over. But in Nomifactory, you have early access to superconductors in the form of the Ender IO alloys, so like conductive iron, energetic alloy, vibrant alloy, N steel is EV, etc. The normal GregTech superconductors are in here as well, and they are actually just trying to see if I can find it, but the normal GregTech superconductors, yeah, these are the normal GregTech superconductors. Now, these are much more expensive to make than, say, the Ender IO ones, like the manganese phosphide. You know, we're nowhere near being able to make. We're nowhere near being able to make this. It needs a blast furnace. It needs manganese and phosphorus. You know, it's not something we can really make right now. But it actually supports 2 amps versus the conductive iron, which is which is just 1 amp. So the GregTech superconductors, they are more the normal GregTech superconductors are more expensive, but they do take more amperage. They take double the amperage that these ones, that the Ender IO based ones take. But the majority of our power transport will actually be conduits, because we'll be generating redstone flux and then converting that. But we'll have a look at that in a bit, because we will have the dynamos set up soon. So I'm going to go build the structure for the sugarcane farm, and then we'll look at how it's actually set up. Right, so this is phase 1 of the farm setup. So we've just got water, and the sugarcane is on the Snad. So this is not sand, this is Snad, and Snad will basically force a growth whenever it receives a block update. So an adjacent block just needs to update, and the easiest way to get to trigger a block update on an adjacent block is to use redstone, because redstone, whenever it pulses, it triggers a block update. But we want to trigger these updates as fast as we can. Now, I believe there are other methods of doing this. I'm not sure if this is the fastest method, but I will probably play about with a couple of other options off camera. But this is the way I'm familiar with. So basically, we have 2 observers kissing each other. So if we break that one, the front of the observer is pointing. The front of the observers are pointing at each other, which basically creates a constant pulse. And if I break one of these sugarcanes now, you will see how fast it regrows. So the next stage is we need to observe when these sugarcanes hit. We need to observe when these sugarcanes are fully grown. And since they'll grow more or less at the same time, what we can do is we can actually shove an observer pointing at the top one. And what that observer will do is it will then trigger pistons, which will be 1 level below. So we grab the pistons. That's not a piston. Grab you. We put the pistons down. You can rotate pistons with the GregTech wrench. Break you and put the piston there. I do have the wrench. So you can rotate pistons with the GregTech wrench, just like you can any GregTech machines. And we point them all at the thing. And then we need to... I'm not sure if this is going to work the way I want it to. We'll just quickly... I need to wait for it to pulse. Oh, that did work. Okay. So, if we do that... There we go. So you will want to get a sound muffler to muffle the sound of these pistons. So you can craft one of these up. It's a note block and some wool, and it will muffle sounds within a given range. So you provided a list of sounds, and then you define the range in which it will muffle those sounds. Now, obviously, these aren't going anywhere right now, so we need to sort that out. So the vacuum chest will go here, in the middle. Oh, that did not work as intended. The vacuum chest will go in the middle. Probably, I could have done with elevating this one layer up, but we should be fine. So we'll do... I don't know why that water source, that nuclear craft water source keeps ending up in my inventory. I keep putting it back in the chest, but whenever I open that chest, sometimes it just randomly jumps into my inventory. So we'll do that. That has actually swallowed up some sugarcane. And then what should happen is these items, so the range on this, you can check the range on this by basically doing, by right-clicking the inventory and hitting that. We can't, can we make item filters yet? Because if you don't put an item filter in, it will just pick up everything. So we need a hopper, which these aren't fun to make. But we should be able to make at least one. Because I don't want it randomly picking up anything that I drop in that area. So we can turn that back off. So I'll go quickly make a hopper because it's a lot of annoying microcrafting, so I'm not gonna go through it here. And then I will come back and we'll get the rest of the farm set up. Right, so we have our item filter. Ender IO configuration in general is actually quite nice. So we take the item filter. It works the same way with conduits as well. We take the item filter, put it into the machine, and we will get the edit filter settings dialog. Now, basically, we need to take a sugarcane. You don't have to actually do this. You can also search, but obviously it was just quicker for me to take an existing sugarcane than type. But you can search in JEI and then basically drag the item into the field. So this is a whitelist, which means that if I drop anything now, the vacuum chest won't pick it up. But if I drop sugarcane, it just shot straight in. I didn't even intend to drop it there. I was going to drop it a bit closer, but it just shot straight in. We will reduce the range on this because it doesn't need to be as big as it is. We can probably get away with one more, and that should cover us. So now we need to actually send the sugarcane somewhere. So we're going to put it, what we're going to do is we're actually going to send it into a drawer, and we are going to use item conduits. And item conduits are awesome. So basically, you can, and each individual connection can both insert and extract, and it can do that on different channels. So you can do what's called self-feed, where the insert and extract are the same color, so they're on the same channel, and the conduit will actually just can send items that it extracts, it can send them back into the same block that it just extracted them from. If you don't enable self-feed, then the conduits will not do this, even if they have the same color. So, since green is the default, I never use green. So we'll do brown, and the vacuum chest we want to extract on brown, always active, and we want to insert on brown into the storage drawer. And there we have our sugarcane. What we can do now, though, is what we will do is we will actually move our furnaces from over there to over here, so they can have unlimited fuel from the sugar canes, and we will extract from this same connection, but on a different color. So we'll do blue. So my general rule of thumb is that going from a centralized storage, extracting from a centralized storage, I tend to do on blue, and sending to a centralized storage, I tend to do on black. And then the other colors are reserved for intermediate steps, like extracting from the vacuum chest into the drawer is basically just an intermediate step. So I use the other colors for that. But this can only handle, I believe, it's 32 stacks, which I believe is 4,096? No, I think it's 2,048. Yeah, it is. So this can handle 2,048 sugarcane, and then it will start to backfill into this. But once this is full, then all the sugarcane will just get thrown on the ground and cause a lot of lag. So we need a void upgrade for the storage drawer, so it voids excess items. Now this needs obsidian. Yeah, this needs obsidian, which I do have enough, so that's fine. So that's 8 obsidian. I do need to go mine more because we will need obsidian for dark steel. Not too far from now. So we need sticks, and we need a chest. Is that everything? To make that. To then make the upgrade templates, of which we get 2, and then to use one of those to make the void upgrade. We'll throw this on the drawer, and now what we should be able to do is basically, this is not pretty. We're not going for pretty here. Not while we're still in this void world. We're going for function. So this does the job. Obviously by the time we start building out our nice proper base in the overworld, we won't be needing safety first, make sure we're lit up. We won't be needing the we won't be needing the sugarcane farm because we'll have other sources of power. So if we look, everything's getting pulled in. So basically, that will just keep chugging away. I don't know how loud that is for you guys on there, so we will quickly craft a muffler. Obviously for myself as well, because I don't want to listen to that all day. I could turn it off in dynamic surroundings, but that would actually turn it off global. I could block the sound in dynamic surroundings, but that will obviously block it globally, which I don't want to do. So we'll just quickly make a note block, and then we need some wool. Do we have wool? I'm not sure if we do. So if you double click the search bar in JEI, it will darken the screen and only show you the items that actually match the search. Again, this is all probably fairly well known for a lot of people, but like I said, I want to for any potential newer players or players that haven't played modded, or not necessarily haven't played modded, because I wouldn't advise playing this pack as your first modded pack, but players who haven't necessarily been playing for very long. So basically we do a blacklist, because if you do a whitelist and don't add anything, it will just block all sounds. So if we do that, we want to block that. and you can't add multiple in one go, which is quite annoying. So it's going to block the piston noises, but we will still hear the sugar canes hitting the water, which you can also block that as well. I believe the sound is splash. I think it's that one, generic splash. So now you won't hear the sugar cane splashing into the water either. And basically this will just keep going. It'll just keep going forever, but it will void the excess sugar cane. So there may be ways to make this grow faster, but I will experiment. Actually, there is one thing we will quickly experiment with. We'll just cheat it in to test it. So apparently you can use a timer from Dark Utilities to do it. It's not actually that hard to make, but we, just for the sake of testing, we'll cheat it in, and then we'll get rid of it. So if we get rid of these observers and we put the timer there, which means I don't think we need that. And this is supposed to trigger a pulse every... so if we do it every 10 ticks, I don't know if that's faster. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think the observers are actually faster. If we just look at the rate at which it pulses, I'm fairly sure the observers are... I can't get in there to pick it up. I'm fairly sure the observers are actually faster. Let's just quickly put them back. Yeah, that's faster. That's faster. Because I think this is going every tick. I could be wrong, but I think this is actually firing every tick. So we'll get rid of that. Bye-bye timer. Come out of op mode. And yeah, so there we go. That's just going to keep chugging along. I'll quickly disappear, and I'll move the furnaces and a couple of other bits, and then we'll get the power set up. Right, so got the furnaces moved. They're all nicely, happily filled up with fuel now. Unfortunately, these more furnaces, I believe they're coded similar to vanilla furnaces, so you can't just insert the fuel from any side. I believe you have to insert the fuel from the back, and then insert the items to be smelted from the top, and I think you have to extract from the bottom. But we're not going to automate these, really. We're just going to stuff in manually. The only reason we put them over here is so they can get unlimited fuel. But yeah, this is almost full. Despite the fact that it was full when I put these down, but obviously these hold 448 fuel each, so that put a pretty big dent in it. But you know, it's another couple of minutes and it'll be full. So we're going to do the dynamos now. So we'll just do one set of dynamos for today, for illustration purposes, and then I'll craft the other 3 dynamos off camera. So the first step is we install the boiler conversion that we crafted into that dynamo, which means it will now produce steam. So it can produce a maximum of 160 millibuckets per tick. We then install the turbine conversions into both of these. So these will now take steam as fuel, and will produce RF out of it. They can produce a maximum RF of 160. So what we will do is so we need fluid conduits, which we have. These should be fast enough for now. Actually, no, they won't. We will probably need GregTech pipes. And probably something a bit faster than that. Yeah, so we'll make some steel fluid pipes. We'll make some steel fluid pipes because these can have a total IO across the conduit of 400 millibuckets per tick, but they can only extract from an individual source at 100 millibuckets per tick, which means we'll be missing out on 60 steam, 60 steam per tick. So we're going to use steel fluid pipes instead. We only need, I think it's just 2. I think it's only 2 that we need. And the steam will come out of the bit at the end, the excitation coil, as it's called. Now, GregTech pipes, they will attempt to pump in every connected direction. They'll attempt to move fluid in every connected direction. So to stop the fluid from sloshing back and forth, you just shift right-click on the connection, and it will create this arrow. So fluid can only move that way, it can't come back. So you won't get sloshing between these 2 pipes. Now, the same rule as steam comes out of the end, energy comes out of the end as well. So our energy conduits will be hooked up to the ends to the front of these dynamos. The dynamos themselves can be, again, like most things, can be rotated with the wrench. So we're going to now, when I crafted up those dynamos to get the LV power quest, I also crafted up the energy converter. And I did craft up some conductive iron energy conduits. Now these will carry 512 RF per tick, or FE per tick. It's all the same energy, RF, FE, and whatever Ender IO is calling that. It's all the same energy. It all uses the same energy API, which is the Forge energy API. But different mods use different terminology. So the thermal mods use redstone flux because they used to have their own power system called redstone flux in earlier versions of thermal expansion. Now they use the same name, but it uses Forge energy. So in theory, I guess we're not going to move all the machines today, so I guess just for illustration purposes, we'll grab that, and we'll grab that and put that there. And basically, like I said, it doesn't matter if you were to leave insert on, it wouldn't do anything bad. It's just I like the arrows to represent the flow of energy. So dynamos need something else. They need water as well. Again, for illustration purposes. So I upgraded the water on this tank. I upgraded it to use the Ender IO Endeavour, which we have access to now that we're in LV, and now that we have the alloy smelter. This produces, I believe it's a bucket per second of water, and it's infinite. So basically what happens is you place it down, you put 2 buckets of water into it, and that will cause it to fill up, and then after that it will never empty. I'm still buffering it into this tank, because I've been taking from this tank to fill these cauldrons, to wash the uraninite dust manually. But we don't need an Endeavour over here right now. So this needs fuel, which we can give it. So that will now get fuel, and then basically we just need to shove a water source near it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove 2 of these water sources near it, and then we'll do that. And basically, oh yeah, the pipes hurt. And now we can see this is filling up. So something to watch out for, or something we need to do still, is we need to craft they're available in the Genesis chapter, I believe. Yeah, we need to craft these fuel catalyzers. So basically each one of these you install increases the efficiency with which this burns fuel. So basically it just makes it burn the fuel. In the case of the steam dynamos, it just makes it burn the fuel slower. In the case of regular dynamos where you're not doing the steam conversion, it effectively just means that they generate more energy they generate more RF per piece of fuel. But as we can see, this is actually, to be fair, this isn't actually dropping down. I was afraid that this might not be able to keep up unless we put catalyzers in, but it is actually coping, to be honest. So we should be fine for now. But yeah, basically that's that's chugging along. And at the moment, these dynamos will burn the excess energy that they don't. So as you see, it's basically the internal buffer is climbing up. But once the internal buffer climbs up and reaches full, they will still burn fuel. They'll still burn fuel. So, but yeah, this is basically renewable power and renewable furnace fuel. So this will scale quite well for our current needs, but once we start to get towards HV, we will need a different source of power, and that different source of power will likely be where is it? Numismatic dynamos. I believe they get unlocked as soon as we get vibrant alloy. So basically, as soon as I believe it's sometime in MV, where we will start looking at these. Because we have to do deep mob learning in order to get diamonds to feed them with. So it's basically the numismatic dynamo and the lapidary calibration, which allows the dynamo to burn diamonds, or allows it to burn gemstones as fuel. So, but for now, this will happily take us a pretty decent distance because we can scale this. This setup, I believe, will handle, I think it's 4 reinforced dynamos. So that's the tier 3 dynamos. And basically 4 reinforced dynamos will feed 8 reinforced, or 4 reinforced steam dynamos will feed 8 reinforced turbine dynamos, which will output, I believe it's a couple of amps of HV power. But we'll see. We're a bit of a way off there. But I believe it's a couple of amps of HV power that we'll get out of that setup. So yeah, if you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. As you can see, we're slowly starting to get more efficient. We're slowly starting to get the quality of life stuff. And we'll be starting to get into the more fun stuff soon, such as chemistry and more automation and so on, especially now that we have conduits. But this is basically the early stuff that we have to go through to get to where we need to be. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one tomorrow or not. I've actually not been feeling particularly well while I've been recording this one. I think I might be coming down with something, so I was planning to do a GTNH episode tomorrow, but I will probably postpone that because I'm getting to some pretty big projects in GTNH, like the power upgrade and the platinum line, and I don't, if I'm feeling sick, I'm not particularly in the greatest of headspaces to be planning that sort of stuff and also recording it. So if I do a video, if I do more videos over the next couple of days, they'll be Nomifactory videos rather than GTNH. And hopefully when I'm feeling a little bit better, I think it might, hopefully it's just a 24-48 hour thing and I might feel better on Monday. But we'll see. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely day.